Hey everyone, quick little aside before we start this video. By the time this video is up, it's going to be the day before I'm doing a charity stream on Twitch that is in support of the Transgender Law Center. I'm going to be drawing lots of art requests, so I'm going to be drawing for each donation that I get. So come on down, get some art, and yeah, let's go. So it's June. And there's a very important birthday happening in June. Not to toot my own horn, but I am kind of involved. It is, after all, the most important birthday ever that happens during June. That's right. Gay people. Hey everyone, it's your kawaii boy Monty. Come be cute with me today. The response on my last video has been really amazing. I super appreciate the support. And now that I've made one, we're just gonna keep making a gazillion now. Am I gonna have a schedule? I don't know, but I'm gonna try keep working on them each time and go down that list. Today's video is just a general little peek in talking about trans and non-binary Lolitas, which I happen to be one. I know I may not look it with the frills, but you know, your boy's gotta be cute. I had this idea on my list to do a video talking about transness in the Lolita community for a while, obviously as well, you know, since it's from my personal experience. So I thought it would be easy. And what better time to do it than during Pride Month? But I didn't really just want to talk about my own experiences. I also wanted to get some thoughts from other people in the community. I'm not the only trans Lolita there is. Turns out there's a lot of us. Just a little disclaimer here, this isn't really an academic video, I guess, in the traditional sense, but it can be potentially educational for you if you are a cis Lolita or a cis OG. You want to get some insight about trans and non-binary Lolitas, so this is your opportunity. What I ended up doing is I made a little bitty survey just with a few general questions about the experiences of trans and non-binary Lolitas and OG in the community, asking about how their feelings are, what their connections to Lolita is, as well as how they're faring in the community at large. And as we go through these questions, I'm gonna be throwing in a couple of my thoughts too. Complete side note, if anybody can tell me where the heck this rainbow pin is from, that would be pretty neat. I just got it as a Lace Margaret freebie. I don't know where it's from. If you're curious about the other pins, this is a freebie that I got from the L'Orion Bijoux unboxing video I did. And this is a pin I got as a reward for backing the Dentelles zine. Blue and pink today, and also a little extra gay. So let's see what these Lolitas have to say. So before we got into the more relevant questions, I did ask a couple questions just for fun. Just, you know, to look at. One of those questions being what genders the surveyors went by. Hi, sweetie. And surprise, surprise, in this alternative fashion, a heck ton of them are non-binary. I don't think there was a single binary person that answered. Not that they don't exist, of course, but I just thought it was funny. Where we're going, we don't need genders, we just need frills. Most of the people that answered the survey were relatively new to the fashion. Not all of them, though. And the last little extra question I asked, just because, is what substyles did they prefer? Interestingly enough, Gothic and Classic, like, just won all the way. The majority of people were really big Gothic fans, and then Classic really close up to it. Only a very tiny amount of people chose Sweet, which I find quite interesting also considering Sweet's popularity. Okay, those are just the just for fun questions. Let's get to the real thing. So Lolita is quite a feminine fashion, hyper feminine. I think a lot of us would agree with that. One of its key tenets, I personally think, is just to celebrate femininity in a very personal way. It made me wonder, what do trans and non-binary Lolitas think about this sort of poof, in-your-face feminine fashion. And there are a lot of great answers here. For those that have some sort of fluidity to their gender, they find Lolita to be a great way to sort of express that specific femininity on their own terms, which I think a lot of cis women in fashion feel as well. Something I found was trans masc individuals finding some sort of interesting comfort in Lolita, because Lolita is just so out there that it's not really prone to the same expectations of society of what gender fits into it. So a lot of trans masc guys, including myself, feel that we can safely express our femininity in it. Going to the other side of the pond, let's talk about trans femmes in Lolita. I found that those who answer to our trans feminine said that Lolita helps them discover their identity in a way. It made them embrace the femininity, made them feel like it was okay for themselves, and it helped them realize their true gender. And this is something I hear a lot from trans feminine Lolitas. Mana. Mana-sama, the icon. The fact that we've had somebody in the community who's DMAB wear these pretty dresses and be appreciated on such a high level, that's inspiring for people. What resonates the most with me is the fact that there's a lot of trans masc Lolitas that don't really mind that they're wearing feminine things. When I'm wearing normie clothes, I much prefer masculine or ambiguous stuff. I really hate wearing dresses outside of Lolita. I'm not a fan of skirts. But in Lolita, it's just really special. So let's talk gender euphoria. If you don't already know, gender euphoria is a sensation when a trans or non-binary person feels positively affirmed of their gender. And there are some aspects of Lolita that personally make me feel this way, so I had to ask this too. Speaking on the topic of OG, one of the responders is a trans masc OG who mentions that they feel a lot of euphoria wearing it, feeling happy when people call them by sir. Honestly, I'd really like to get into OG too, but there's like one shop with clothes that fit me, so. A very common theme that came up was the technical and logistical parts of the actual clothing that make people feel good. A lot of people mentioned that the Lolita silhouette brings attention to areas where they don't feel dysphoria and brings attention away from things that makes them feel dysphoria. Somebody mentioned that wearing high collar blouses makes them feel like a vampire Vichy, which I didn't think I would ever feel until I got a high collar blouse, and it makes me feel like a vampire Vichy. I want to get more of them. Gender euphoria really comes from the funniest of places. So, being trans and non-binary can potentially have its own issues in the community, and I figured I'd want to ask about that too. Fortunately, there weren't any really first-hand accounts, and a lot of the surveyors just said no, they haven't experienced anything bad really. I know I haven't actually, so that's a plus. But there are a few observations about how the online community sort of can act towards trans and non-binary Lolitas. One of them mentioned being on a server where they were really against pronoun roles. But one of the surveyors recounted their experiences when looking at Facebook groups. Unless it's for my local comm, I kind of stay away from Facebook Lolita groups, so I can't really recount this myself, but this is what this person experienced. Namely that people on Facebook groups just don't really behave towards Lolitas that are outwardly more masculine, and that as a trans masc Lolita that wants to transition and take testosterone, it scares them. It makes them feel like they're just not going to be welcome. I personally stay off of Facebook, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is a thing that happens. So it could be worth a discussion in the comments. Let me know. Okay, time to talk about the positive stuff. And an overwhelming majority of the surveyors mentioned that the most positive thing for them is finding other Lolitas and OGs like them. When I started Lolita, I was just starting to figure out I was non-binary. This was 2013, and in all the communities I looked in, it was, or at least it seemed, definitely overwhelmingly cis. But nowadays, we're everywhere. You can see us everywhere. And I think the trans and non-binary people in this community really appreciate that. It's always really exciting to meet somebody who not only has similar experiences to you with regards to gender and gender expression, but also likes the same clothes as you. Loves this same fun, outrageous, a little strange, but just really amazing fashion. Aside from a few exceptions, the community's pretty welcoming right now. I certainly felt that when I went to the first meetup with my new comp. With my head still stuck in 2013, I did not expect my local comm to ask me my pronouns. And when they did, I was so overjoyed. And I'm finding that more and more Lolita groups, they're always on board about pronouns. That's really validating. You have no idea. When I was making this survey, I was thinking about what could we close this out with? And I figured since I'm making this video and since people are watching, I thought it would be good to ask, well, what can cis lolitas and oujis do to make us feel more welcome? A couple of surveyors didn't really have anything to say. They felt like that the online community is really good and really accepting and doesn't really need any advice. I feel like that is true to an extent, though with the community and its many mediums, you know, there's imperfection somewhere. And having as much awareness as possible in being an ally, I feel like fits for any marginalized group. As an example, with me being light-skinned and half white, I find it really important to do continuous allyship and to constantly educate myself more about what I can do for Black and Indigenous folk. So some things for cis lolitas and oujis to know from trans people about how they can otherwise make things better for us, make this a better community. This came up quite a bit, just pronouns. It's a very simple fix. Just asking for pronouns, not assuming gender. It's really simple. Even easier if you run an online community. You can normalize pronouns by putting your own in your profiles. This is kind of general stuff. It doesn't apply to just Lolita. As we said before, undoubtedly, Lolita is a very feminine fashion. I think we can all agree with that. But of course, that doesn't mean that all of the people involved are feminine people. Not all Lolitas are women. Some of them are non-binary. Some of them are even men or trans masc. Even though there are trans feminine Lolitas and trans women in Lolita, their experiences are still quite different from cis women. They're going to have their own struggles with fit. They're going to have their own struggles with going out in public in Lolita. And of course, there's being welcoming of Lolitas that appear masculine, that have masculine features. None of this video may be truly statistical or academic, but these are still the experiences of real-life marginalized people. So any consideration towards that is gonna help us. I think I'm gonna wrap up this video now. I'm sweating so much. I'm really lucky this isn't brand. But also actually, sweat in your brand. You spent a lot of money in it. Who cares? It's your clothes. You spent $150 on a blouse, the least you deserve to do is to sweat in your own gosh dang clothes. In honor of this video and in honor of Pride, I'm going to link a bunch of trans and non-binary Lolitas that you should follow. They're awesome. Go see them. Do it now, or else I'll take your kumyas. Alright, recording has gone on long enough. This has been Monty, your kawaii boy, and remember that every day is a good day to uplift yourself and others. Bye!